stupid and they couldn't read the score. It's not necessary. And I think that's also aspects of the figure of the conductor which Canetti had in mind. And I like to work without conductors, if it's possible. It's not always possible, but that's why I loved to bring in this scene.
It was very interesting when you showed the separating of elements. For example, when the actor is actually directed by the light.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the actor is actually training this puppet light.
Yeah.
Okay. Was this just to show not to overwhelm the viewer?
Yeah.
Or just for this particular reason?
Pure in a way. It was an idea to be pure and not to overwhelm with all elements at once. I think it was let me think. What was a process of invention? Now I would say it like this. I don't know how it came up to me to be so pure. I think I wanted to have a big separation between the first part and the second part. And I knew the second part would be quite intense with bringing all the elements together and adding also the film as an element. So that's why I rather like this chess figure-like staging I used in the first half, which was quite hard for the actor to do, because he always said, well, I can only stand here, is this enough, I'm not sure, and shouldn't I do something? He said, no, don't do something, it's so, just let the words and the music come together, and then some light. I can't explain it better.
More questions?
Yeah.
Okay. I never have really questions, I have comments.
You never have a question, that's a mistake.
Yes. No, my comments are the questions.
Okay.
Because I hate to work, but now you make me work. Whatever.
Because I have only questions now, okay, and I share them.
Yes, that's good, but that's not what I do. There are two things. Firstly, the conductor, but just as a side thing, you know, I never listen to the conductor, I just look at him. It's a pantomime element, you know.
Yeah, but do you need it as an illustration of the music?
No, not at all. I always say this guy earns his money really easy. The guys in the orchestra, they know how to play anyway. Yes. They don't need the guy, actually. Yeah. He only disturbs them. So, but as long as he's jumping up and down and sweating, at least he has done some work and should get some money. So, the second thing is, I really like probably the guy Elias, is it probably in English, Canetti, but I doubt anybody knows him from America. The Americans, have you ever heard of Canetti? Yes. Really?
Aha!
Yeah. You think, I think you lie. But anyway, he might not be so smart as he thought himself, because he was a person of
his work is smart.
Of his time too, yes. So his Keusch story, the chest stuff, and the fear of the totalitarian, overwhelming, you know, that was another time.
I'm not sure.
Goebbels certainly is a moment when we remember this time. Yes. And he was the best. He was much better than you are probably in this respect. But the point is, nowadays we are in the multitasking time, in the age of media. In fact, nowadays intelligence is triggered by doing 10, 12, 15, bring on more of that, not less. So the fact that you are kind of being nice to the audience, should not be overwhelmed, you are underwhelming them by expecting them to be fearful or something like that. So the point is, let me just comment, you know, on that for a while, then we can discuss. Because the point is, here in our program, we are doing cross-disciplinarity. We are bringing in every conceivable media, from poetry to architecture, you know, it's all media in our understanding, and we ask them to play together We are kind of reinventing the Gesamtkunstwerk, but not à la Wagner, in the age of media, und zwar fearless. Fearless. We are no longer really concerned about what all together will do to us, sondern we are fearing, if you have any fear, is a fear of boredom. Don't bore me with just a few things of that, so give me options. And certainly in these options, and I think of Peter Quillway, for example, is a good example, we have understood that we have to pay attention to the different languages. That we allow everyone, architecture is a language, poetry is a language, music is a language, and instead that they serve each other. And therefore, I think there is still the chaste a good advice. Instead of serving each other, so being exploited, and always the question who has the power, usually the text in there, we allowing them to be liberated. So, and then comes something then by accident, by mix, by just believing in a language. We say, we don't want you to do something together, sondern the togetherness must happen. And in a good, what is a real good film, what is a good stuff, like you did, I think it was a good stuff, it happened anyway. And how you described how you got into it was kind of arbitrary, you know, you liked this and you liked the music, nothing of that is a notwendige, necessary step in there, but because of that, the languages had a chance kind of to come together unexpectedly, and rightfully, as you say, every audience will watch it differently because their accidents will happen differently too.
Exactly.
Right. So insofar, it really doesn't matter this Brecht and alienation and tell the people it's not reality, blah, blah, blah. Because that's all a game in itself also, just pointing out certain things. But the things and the elements have the power to overcome all these definitions and go into the event, in the Ereignis, as Heidegger called it. And insofar, I would say, our fear has to be the other way around. Our fear has that we are still too cowardly and still too educational, still too saying, oh, what will audience, maybe they will not understand, so how can we help them? Instead of just pushing the languages to go beyond us and our limited understanding, even the limited understanding of Canetti. But you're totally right, his texts are much smarter than he can ever be. Yeah. Fortunately for us, it was the first sentence of my dissertation in German, die Sprache spricht und nicht der Mensch, und daher existieren wir noch. So this is not for you guys, just for him. Okay, also therefore, my thanks to you. I think you demonstrated what we call the mix, and DJ Spooky, as you know, is our usually mix guy, and he will come later, 10 days later, fresh from Venice, where he mixed something. But you kind of showed us a mix of a very different, in many ways different way. Obviously, I don't think that he has all these Russian composers and string whatever, but in many ways also a similar thing. It's interesting for me to see how people coming from so different music languages have the same feeling what needs to be done today in order to overcome the servicing industry within the art and allow the arts to go back into their freedom of expression, and us as they are helping them to get free and not trying to get them to do something specific. That is what would be my commentary. But now you can say, no, I'm a composer.
I say yes. Okay. because you run into open doors and on a lot of levels. Because first of all, I'm the first one who is against any element serving something else. But I would say that in this society of spectacle, as we are,